Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here. Today I have a card magic review for you. We're going to be taking a look at 3 Solutions by Andrew Frost. He's otherwise known as Slightly Obsessed on his Instagram account. You may be familiar with him, and he puts out all his products through Gumroad. This instructional download can be picked up for 15 pounds or about $20. And what you're going to get is you're going to get an hour and a half of video instruction, which includes 3 solutions to Hofzinser's Ace Problem, as well as a bunch of utility moves. So if you're not familiar with Hofzinser's Ace Problem, this is a transposition card routine where a card is selected, 4 aces are shown. Next thing the spectator knows, one of the aces has turned upside down or is different from the other ones or is selected, and that ace will indicate the suit value of the selection. In the next moment, when you go to reveal the selection, the ace and the selection have transposed before the spectator ever realized it ever happened. This is the classic effect. Actually was attributed to Hofzinser by mistake by Di Vernon. It's actually a Jack Avis routine. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what you can expect on this downloadable instructional, and then I'm going to go over some basic questions you probably have about it. So the ad copy for this is legit. Everything that you see on there is what you're going to learn. He goes over the basic premise of the plot and then tells you about what's included in the download. And in terms of the teaching is excellent, top notch. I really liked his format where he did a live presentation of each of the 3 solutions. And after the live presentation, like of the first solution, then he goes into just teaching you the moves you need to know to be able to perform the routine. Then he teaches you the routine slowly, and then finally at the end he shows over the credits and inspirations of that solution or that routine. And then he does the same thing with the second routine and the third routine. So I thought that was really good. I thought the camera angles were excellent, and I really liked how he explained everything. I thought it was very easy to pick up and learn overall. Now, in terms of the difficulty of this material, which is probably what you're most interested in, I will tell you that the difficulty ranges because the routines go from bold to very bold. So the first solution is the easiest to perform. I thought it was extremely easy to perform. It's probably like intermediate level, and then the last version is a lot more difficult, so that's more advanced. And that's probably because it uses Jerry Andrus's clip slip move, and you have to do a one-handed reversal if you want to do it the same way that he did it. So that's a little more technically difficult. The second solution is somewhere in the middle. Again, it's not too technically difficult, but there is some switches that take place that you have to be able to do flawlessly, so there's going to be some practice involved. I think there's something for everyone here, and definitely just the utility moves you're going to learn here are worth picking this up overall. So I'm going to just first go over the utility moves that you guys are going to learn, and then I'll tell you a little bit about each of the routines. So the first utility move you're going to learn the Vernon double lift and pinky count. Probably many of you already know how to do that, but he does go over that in detail. Teaches you the second deal. He also goes over an ace display, which is an alternative to the Elmsley count, which is really nice because you probably will use that in other routines. He does show you the D'Amico change, which is a fantastic way to switch a card for another card, and that is applicable to many different routines, not just this routine. The clip slip, which I mentioned before, is a wonderful, it's a clean, elegant, deceptive control is what it really is, by Jerry Andrus. If you really want to learn it well, you should check out Jerry Andrus's book, which is called Andrus Deals You In. This is an old book, came out like I think in the 50s. In there, Jerry Andrus, there's a heading there, which I think it was something like a diagonal jog or something like that. But anyway, in that section of the book, he goes over the clip slip, and he actually goes over 2 variations of it, and there's some subtleties that he goes over that you're not going to learn here on this video, of the way that Jerry Andrus used the clip slip, so that way the movements of his hands look totally natural. So definitely worth checking out if you like the move. If you're not familiar with the move, well, this will be a nice introduction, because on this video you're going to learn the very basics of the move at the very least. You're also going to learn the Hofzinser call force, which probably many of you already know. And he teaches you a one-handed reversal, which I personally didn't really like very much, but he does fortunately teach you an alternative to that on here for the routine at least. He also goes over a version of a stop force, which you may want to use or not, so it's something that you may or may not like, so it's up to you. So in terms of the different routines, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about each of the three solutions or the three routines. So the first solution is the one that I like the most. It's extremely workable. This is the kind of routine that you can add right to your set and you can use it immediately. It's not difficult at all to perform. I'm going to show it to you guys in my own hands, at least demo that one version for you to give you a taste of what you can expect here. So let's take a quick look at it. So here's solution number one, which I like a lot. And it looks like this. Spread a deck, have somebody take a look at a card. They select a card. In this case, this is what their selection is going to be. You have them return it to the top, and on second thought, you say, you know what, why don't you put it in the middle of the deck? So they put it in the middle, because otherwise it's too easy to find. And then you say, you know what, I've got 4 cards here that are going to help us locate your card, and they happen to be the 4 aces. So these 4 are going to actually help us locate yours. What I want you to do is I want you to touch 1. So they put their finger on 1, and then you say to them, look, that means I know your card wasn't a diamond, a club, or a spade. It means it must have been a heart, am I right? And they're going to say yes, and you're going to be like, wow, that's interesting. What was your card? For the first time, they're going to tell you, I think it was like a 2 of hearts. So then you're going to say, okay. You turn this one over, and this is actually the ace of hearts. So you say, oh, if that's the ace of hearts, then what's this? And of course, that's going to be their 2 of hearts. And that is solution number 1. Okay, the second version on here, that's the one that uses the stop force, and that's the one that uses of the D'Amico switch, and that one is a little bit more technically difficult. Some people may like it. It's a little bit more bold. I don't think it's technically too difficult. It will require a little bit of practice. The third solution on here is the one that is the boldest, and that is the one that uses the clip slip as a control. And that one, the one thing I didn't like was the one-handed reversal. If you want to do it the exact same way, the deck has to go out of sight for a moment. So there is some angle restrictions on that version. Luckily, he does teach you an alternative to it. So I think if you do it with the alternative, it's better. But out of the 3 versions, the 3 solutions, I liked solution 1 the best, probably just because it's the one that's most workable. Then again, I think that you may prefer the second or the third instead of the first one. Just, I think it's up to your own personal preference overall. Definitely, like I said before, there's something for everyone here. What I really liked about all 3 versions was that he goes over a way of doing an equivoke with the aces, which is really nice, and you'll be able to use that for other types of routines too. So I thought that was a really nice thing that he added in there, and I thought that that's what really made these 3 solutions overall pretty elegant, was his method of forcing the suit on the spectator by using that different. It's a little bit different than your average equivoke, so it's something that you may be pleasantly surprised to see overall. So I really liked that stuff altogether. And other questions you may have angle-wise, like I said to you, just the third solution had really that big angle restriction. And like I had said to you guys, that of the 3 solutions, the third one obviously is a lot more bold than the first one. In case you are wondering, of the people that I have performed this for, the first solution, no one's ever suspected anything, and they were all very surprised at the end. So I've gotten some good positive reactions from using it. I think it definitely is worth it. Now, here are some other alternatives for you guys for the Hofzinser Ace Problem. If you are interested, some other products where you could learn other versions of this card plot that were put out recently that I thought about just sharing with you guys you may like. Ryan Schlutz, he put out an At the Table lecture July 2018, and there he had a routine that was called No Hassle Hof. And in that routine, it is your typical type of Hofzinser Ace Problem routine. The thing that was nice about it was that he has his spectator select like 5 or 6 cards. He has them mix them up in their hands, and they mentally think of one of those, and that's going to be their selection. Even though it seems like a free selection, it's not. And technically, it's very easy to perform, I'd say beginner level. So you may want to take a look at that. Another version of the card plot you may like is one that Cameron Francis put out. It was called Easy Hof, a very technically easy to perform routine. And that was put out on his DVD set, which was called the Super Mega Card Miracles. It was a 2 DVD set. I think it's on DVD 1 at the very end of it. You can find it there. And in that version, a card is selected, lost back in the pack. The 4 aces are shown, and then you spell to their selection. You first spell the suit, and then you spell the actual selection. And you actually end up, the 4 aces end up turning into all 4 of the value of their card at the end. So it has that nice little kicker. You may like that or not. If you are wondering what my favorite version of the Hofzinser Ace Problem is, my favorite version is one that was put out by Chad Long called Another Rumor. And that was put out years ago. I've performed it for years. I learned it from one of his lecture videos, but it was like 20 years ago now. I always go back to it. It's definitely my favorite version of the Hofzinser Ace Problem. I'll even leave a link in the description of this video so you can watch a performance of that here on YouTube if you're interested. Definitely worth checking out if you are into this ace or into this card plot. Definitely this is a nice card plot to learn. It really gets a shock from your spectators. Overall, I would rate this downloadable instructional, this 3 solutions, I would rate it as 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's excellent, definitely worth picking up. You're going to learn a lot of great card magic on here, and like I had said earlier, I think there's a little something for everyone here. If you have any questions about anything I went over in this review, please just leave me a comment below. As always, if there's anything you want me to review, also just leave me a comment, and I look forward to seeing your comments. And thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you on the next review.